Far from Washington, the BSAA command center processed an unexpected intelligence report. Something they had waited years to see. A source claimed to know the whereabouts of Ozwell E. Spencer, the reclusive founder of Umbrella, long believed unreachable. Press Redfield and Jill Valentine were summoned immediately. Inside a briefing room lit by low monitors, the mission was laid out with a stark clarity. Infiltrate Spencer's remote estate, secure the property, and take the aging Umbrella mastermind into custody. They departed for the estate, unaware of what confrontation waited inside the halls. The great architect of Umbrella, the man who had once imagined himself standing above humanity as its god, had been reduced to a frail old body, wasting away inside the halls of his own estate. Solid food had become too much for him. Strength left him day by day, until most of his remaining hours were spent seated in his study. But Spencer refused to surrender quietly. In one final desperate attempt to cheat death, he ordered Patrick to assist him in developing a new virus. Test subjects were kept in confinement and used in experiments, meant to restore his failing body. Each attempt promised salvation, but each result ended in failure. At last, the truth became impossible to ignore. His body was dying, and no virus would save him in time. Spencer understood then he would never see his grand design. If he could not reach the future himself, then he would summon the one man who could. Through an associate, he instructed Patrick to leak his location to Albert Wesker. With that final order given, Spencer dismissed Patrick from his service. The loyal butler was sent away, leaving the old man alone in the estate, with only his bodyguards and the ghosts of his past. And there, in the decaying grandeur of his mansion, Ozwell E. Spencer waited for Wesker to come. And Wesker came like a death sentence. Spencer's guards were the first to fall. One by one, they were cut down with brutal efficiency, their weapons and loyalty useless against the monster Spencer had helped create. By the time Wesker reached his private office, the estate had already gone quiet. Inside, Spencer waited for him. The old man was a shadow of what he had once been, trapped in a body that had long since betrayed him. Yet even as death closed around him, Spencer still spoke with the arrogance of a man who believed history belonged to him. He revealed the truth of the Wesker project, explaining that Albert Wesker had never been ordinary. He had been chosen, engineered and guided from the beginning as part of Spencer's grand design. Spencer also revealed why Wesker had survived his infection, the strain of progenitor virus. It had not been chance. It had all been a result of years of planning, experimentation, and selection. Wesker was one of the rare successes Spencer had that he spent his life trying to produce. But even then, Spencer twisted the truth. Wesker listened, but he was not inspired. Spencer's dream of becoming a god meant nothing to him. The old man's vision was weak, outdated, and beneath him. What stood before Wesker was not a divine ruler, but a dying relic, clinging to the remains of the ambition he could no longer fulfill. To Wesker, Spencer was no longer a master, he was a loose end. Without hesitation, his hand pierced through Spencer's chest with terrible force, ending the life of a man who had shaped so much of his existence. As Spencer died, Wesker condemned him with cold contempt, declaring that a man like him would never become a god. Chris and Jill breached the estate under a moonless sky, expecting resistance from Spencer's elite security. Instead, they found silence. Bodies lay scattered throughout the entrance hall. All the guards were cut down, their weapons unused, their expressions frozen in shock. Whatever had killed them had moved too fast, too decisively for trained men to react. Chris swept his flashlight upward, catching the architecture in a sharp relief. Marble columns, ornate fixtures, and a chandelier that loomed like a memory. Jill felt her chest tighten. The layout was different, but the feeling was unmistakable. Spencer Mansion. Not the same walls or same rooms, but the same cruelty lived here. They moved deeper into the estate, muscles tense, forced to relive the nightmare that had shaped their entire lives. And at the center of it all waited the man who had designed both mansions. One past, one present. At last they reached Spencer's private office. The heavy doors creaked open, revealing the old man's lifeless body, sprawled near his desk. His cane lay beside him, snapped. His chest was still, his whole face twisted in the shock of betrayal. Standing over him was the man they had once been hunting for years, Albert Wesker. His presence chilled the room. He regarded them with the faintest hint of amusement, as though their arrival was predictable. Chris and Jill reacted instantly, weapons raised, executing their takedown formation with practiced precision. But Wesker moved before they could even finish pulling the triggers. His speed blurred. Their gunfire seemed to hang uselessly in the air. He was on Chris in seconds. Their attacks meant nothing. Wesker caught punches, deflected strikes, and shattered the momentum. Every motion of his was effortless, taunting. Chris was thrown back, crashing into the cabinet that splintered beneath his weight. Jill was knocked aside, struggling to regain her footing. Wesker turned his full attention to Chris. He lifted his arm, preparing a blow that would end Chris Redfield's life in a single strike. Chris saw it coming and could do nothing. Jill could. Without hesitation, she lunged. Her body collided with Wesker's, driving him off balance. Momentum carried all three of them forward towards a tall window behind the desk. The glass exploded outward. Chris scrambled forward, reaching out in desperation, his voice lost in the roar of wind and shattered glass. Jill and Wesker vanished over the cliff's edge. Chris stared into the darkness below as the breeze settled around him. The abyss swallowed everything. He sank to his knees, helpless. Jill Valentine was gone.